Will Buchanan on a very blustery morning on the Walk for Liberty. It's September 10th, 2008, day 130. One thing I just realized today is that so far on the Walk for Liberty is that in most of these smaller towns, and even in the medium to larger sized cities, is that there's an almost non-existent homeless population, at least out in public. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but anyway, that's not really what I want to talk about. My question is whether homelessness itself is exacerbated by, or is even completely caused by, the government. Indeed, there are several factors which the government is completely responsible for, which can greatly contribute to the possibility of a person of lower income not being able to afford a place to live. One factor is taxation itself. It's been estimated that most people spend 40 to 60% of their income in taxes in one form or another, either direct or indirect. Besides the obvious taxes such as income, sales, and property taxes, there are also non-obvious ones such as business taxes, which everyone contributes to paying when they buy any kind of products or services from a company. Or, as another example, gas taxes for semi-trucks. You might be thinking, I don't own a semi. I don't pay gas taxes for them. But you sure do if you buy things which are shipped by them, which is pretty much anything from a supermarket, Walmart, or Office Depot as some examples. And then there's the regressive tax of inflation, which is caused by the government and the Federal Reserve inflating the money supply. Poorer people are particularly hard hit by this tax, since they often don't have the know-how or the resources to invest in the right things to keep up with inflation, let alone get ahead. There are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of different types of individual taxes. Watch America, Freedom to Fascism if you want a partial but still monstrous list. With most of those taxes being passed down to the end consumer in one form or another. So it's not hard to imagine how most people end up paying 50% or more of their income in taxes, with lower income people often paying a much higher percent due to their limited disposable income and the regressive nature of many of the taxes. But taxation, including inflation, is just one part of the picture of why government hurts lower income people, and why, because of that, they might not be able to afford a place to live. There's also the minimum wage laws, which ironically end up hurting the very people they're designed to help. Having a minimum wage law doesn't magically make it so that everyone who had a job before the law was in place will still be able to have a job, yet also earn above that minimum level. What ends up happening is that people whose skills are worth less than the minimum wage won't be able to get a job and will most likely become homeless. One argument that some people make for a minimum wage at the current level or even higher is that it should be a living wage, and that a person earning that wage should be able to support a certain arbitrary number of family members. However, it doesn't have to be that way, and is thus closely tied in with another regressive government law, that is, those laws which prevent more than a certain number of people from living within a dwelling. Without those laws in place, several people earning less than the minimum wage could join up and together be able to afford a place to live in. Finally today, one last set of laws which hurt lower income people are business regulations and permits, in particular those involving small business. If a person without much money has a skill, but for whatever reason can't get a job, or even if he just doesn't want to work for somebody else, but wants to try to get ahead by starting his own business, then the government will most likely require him to fill out paperwork and pay fees, and depending on the area he wants to start a business in, possibly even require him to attend government-approved schooling and get licensed. none of which he has the money for. So how is he supposed to get ahead in the world when all he wants to do is provide a product or service to people on a mutually voluntary basis? I'm nearly at the end of my walk today, and I'm also having battery issues with my camera. So my discussion today ended up being about some of the multiple ways in which government hurts poor and lower income people, and which could end up leading to their homelessness. In a later video, I'll talk more about how when government tries to help people, it really hurts them, and how government is not even the best organization to be doing the helping. I had decided today that I wanted to take the back roads for a change of pace. I had been walking on Highway 12 for quite some time, but the traffic kind of wears at you after a while. Unfortunately, the path that we wanted to take has been flooded out. That lake you see up there is apparently completely new since the maps that Google Maps and our GPS have had. I did walk a little bit over 20 miles today. Here are my GPS coordinates. This is Will Buchanan for blog.walkforliberty.com, signing off. Jake's making some new friends.